Hi, welcome to Mr. House's students bore you about the colonial economy. This is the greatest video you've ever seen on the internet. The greatest thing the world has ever seen. So today, instead of me boring you, I'm going to have three of my students bore you. While they're better looking than me, they're certainly more boring as well. So we're going to welcome Jack, Nicole, and Evelyn. So to start us off with the New England economy is Jack.
New England history. Religion played a very important role in the colonial life. They felt persecuted in Great Britain because they had different religious views. So the colonists moved to New England to find religious freedom, and religion was very important. Most of the day for New England was mostly working. Most colonists were fishing, others were building ships. But some colonists were at risk because they weren't fit to work and lift heavy wood to build ships. Shipbuilding. Shipbuilding was a very common job in the New England colonies. The boats moved across water to make trades, and others were used to fish and whaling. Whaling. Whales in New England were used for their material and selling, such as oil, blubber, ivory, and skin to sell. Whaling required multiple strong people because the whale was pretty heavy and they benefited a lot from this. Next up, I have Nicole. Please come on the stage.
Daily life in the Middle Colonies. What? How were the Middle Colonies founded? In late 1626, the Middle Colonies started with New York. Their religion was Quakers, Catholics, Lutherans, Jewish, and others. Later on, they settled more colonies: Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. William Penn founded Pennsylvania. His goal was to create a colony that allowed his freedom, also to protect Quakers. This colony was founded in 1644 by Lord Berkeley and Sir Carteret. People from Europe came to Pennsylvania: Quaker, Scots, Irish, Dutch, French, and more. What was traded in the Middle Colonies? The primary items traded in the Middle Colonies were timber, fur, and coal. Pennsylvania exported iron, paper, textiles, and ships. In New York, they traded with corn, wheat, and livestock, including beef and pork. What were their main labor resource? Family and slaves that were immigrants mostly did their work, so then people didn't have anything to do really. The climate and soil for the Middle Colonies were very good for farming. They also grew grain and sugar. Craftsmen were getting good prices for goods. Merchants became rich during this time. Next up is Evelyn.
Facts about the Southern Colonies. The Southern Colonies are Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Life was difficult for the early Southern colonists. Georgia was founded by James Oglethorpe, so people who owned money could make a fresh start. North and South Carolina was established by Englishmen, but there was more diverse population than the English colonies in the north. Georgia. Plantations across Georgia quickly came to rely on slave labor. Georgia was an English colony located in what is known as the Southern Colonies. Georgia was the fourth colony to become a state, ratifying the Constitution on January 2nd, 1788. Surprisingly, Georgia was the only colony with a ban on slavery. However, that ban was lifted in 1751. plantations, and slavery. England's southern colonies in North America developed an economy that could not survive without slave labor. Many slaves lived in large farms called plantations. These plantations grew important items traded by the colony, such as crops such as cotton and tobacco. By the middle by the middle of the 1700s, around half of the people living in the southern colonies were slaves.
Thank you, Evelyn. And that concludes the amazing presentation on the colonies of Britain. And once again, I don't know how to stop this video, so we are in deep, deep trouble. So if you want Nicole or Evelyn or Jack or all three, they're available for weddings, bar mitzvahs, and quinceañeras. So just contact Mr. House and he will give you the price. Thank you and drive safely.